What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.com. Today, we're going to be talking about something really serious. So this is something I have had on my list of stuff to talk about for a long time. There's been things going around the internet of people saying, Derek's had a hair transplant. Derek's hair's not even hair. It's a hair system. And the truth is, guys, I have not had a hair transplant and I am not using a hair system. And I'm pretty sure most people who are OGs of the channel have seen me posting videos day by day from the beginning and seen my hair at a very bad point and seen it, recover over time. There's been no opportunity for me anywhere in that span of time for me to get a transplant and fully recover. However, does that mean I am against transplants or hair systems? No, I'm not. And I've openly said many times that if I ever get to a point where, let's just say hypothetically, I start getting side effects from the medications I use or the pharmacology I'm using, there's some level of side effects are outweighing the benefits of keeping your hair. Like if you literally could not function day to day, like obviously everyone has their own, pros and cons list, and everyone gets hit with side effects to some degree more than the other, if at all. So, there's some point at which the pros outweigh the cons or vice versa for every single person. So for me, I've always said if the cons ever ended up outweighing the pros, like at which point it would obviously make sense to come off. And at that point, what are your options? You have hair transplant, you have hair system. And like, if I ever got to the point where I was so far gone that a hair transplant would not bring me to a level that I would be happy with, then I would go to hair system route. Like it's just the scenario in which I have no hair is never going to happen. As far as I know, like right now, that's my stance. Maybe in the future, I'll be like down to go bald. I don't know. I highly doubt it though, but I guess we'll see. But for me, hair transplant is not something I'm against either. And like I've considered it many times. I simply have not got to a point where I felt like it was justified, and it also skews my perception of what's going on because I do a lot of experiments still. Like I said, my end goal of all of this was basically to eventually trial every single thing on myself pharmacology related, or everything I felt was worth trialing, and see what it could do. And obviously that's not possible really to see what's going on with any level of accuracy if you've had a hair transplant or if you're in the middle of recovering from a hair transplant or whatever. So for me, the hair transplant thing has always been on like the horizon as something I'd be willing to explore in the future, but it just hasn't been on my timeline to date because I'm still exhausting the list of things I want to figure out before I get to like, okay, here's my like protocol for life now to prevent further loss, and let's get a transplant to restore whatever amount is like not permanently gone, but gone to an extent that I would otherwise probably only be able to get it back with like, there's a line I draw that even I won't cross in terms of nuclear methods for reversing hair loss. Like there's, it's possible to go from like totally bald to getting like an almost full head of hair back. So like if I really wanted to, and I didn't care about side effects whatsoever, like it sounds ridiculous coming from me, but there's some stuff that's even more nuclear that I've seen as tried and true in several scenarios at this point that I know if I ever wanted to, I could push the envelope and go with those. And like when I say I want to trial everything, I mean trial stuff that is well tolerated clinically, or at least has therapeutic promise in a efficacy and tolerability context. So it's not like something that, you have to destroy your manhood in order to get your hair back. Like that's the whole point of all the stuff I'm experimenting with, is stuff that could be like, mainstream enough that the average guy would at least somewhat consider it, rather than like nuclear fucking protocols that are designed for people that have such aggressive loss that they either do that or they just like lose it all kind of thing. So, the option is there's always the nuclear approaches. And like, frankly, the line I draw for that is if it's going to mess up like my productivity with work, my like confidence, or my, muscle mass, or like stuff like that, that is like non-negotiable things, or what, like deal breakers for me. Like those are things I will not jump to myself, even though I know they will work. So, and that's just because there's at least some level that I won't cross where it's like, I'm not gonna have fucking brain fog and not be able to get any work done just so I can get back to like a dense like Norwood Zero, you know what I mean? Like for me, it's not bad enough that I would need to do that. So like I can stave off loss, recovered a decent amount of ground, getting like to like 17-year-old pre any kind of androgenic alopecia density Norwood Zero status is like a pretty difficult undertaking though when you've let yourself regress a significant amount like I had. So like you can only, the fact that I've even got back to where I've got back is like frankly pretty lucky in my opinion, and worth like the fact that I don't even need a transplant to get to a point that I'm like confident walking around with, and that I've recovered from like some shitty level that I didn't even want to leave the house at one point. Like that's pretty substantial. So for me, the transplant thing, it's not like it's in my immediate to-do list or anything. It's something down the line, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, something I might do just to get a better level of density in the areas that I would otherwise probably need to like fucking aggressively apply like minoxidil sulfate to or some shit, as well as like other treatment methods that would otherwise have given me side effects in the past, or will probably give me side effects that are like would interfere significantly with my quality and ability to produce like work as a entrepreneur. That kind of stuff is things I'm not going to delve into myself. I've simply researched them thoroughly at this point and kind of know where I draw my line in terms of things I think would be adopted by the general public, but like things that are nuclear, I'll kind of like educate on, but not really because people want to know like from A to Z what's like the most intense thing, what's the least intense thing, what's like the step-by-step progression of like newbie approaches, basic stuff to the most intense stuff. Like that is going to be something I'm going to cover in some comprehensive overview course or something in the very near future, hopefully. It's been a work in progress. I've been researching this shit for fucking years now at this point, but it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. I'm still digging through a lot of stuff and experimenting with a lot of random things still too, but it's on the to-do list. And yeah, not against transplants, like I said, not against hair systems. If I ever down maybe 30 years from now, like maybe I'll want a hair system and just get off everything, like who wants to be, some people don't want to be on hair loss prevention medications for their whole life. Maybe I'll want some fucking DHT when I'm older. Maybe I'll want, to just not apply stuff to my head on a daily basis and get sick of it and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like slap this thing on my head and glue it on and then we're good. I don't know, but for now, like this is where we're at, and I'm still like balls deep in the pharmacology. And if I ever want to go the transplant route, obviously, you guys are gonna know, because I'm gonna tell you, and it would otherwise be fucking obvious in my opinion, because it's like I'm pretty sure there's a pretty significant recovery window whereby you would know anyways if I was posting. Like it'd be pretty fucking obvious if I go to transplant. So I'll let you guys know, obviously, if that happens. But no shame in getting a transplant if that is something you want to do too. And you kind of just have to weigh out what you're willing to do. Like some people would way rather just get a transplant or a system than to fucking expose themselves to even a microdose of finasteride, and that's perfectly reasonable. I can understand why. There's some people that get devastated, and then there's other people who are willing to go as far as I go on the pharmacology side before they even look at the other stuff. So it all is your risk tolerance and kind of where you're at in terms of how aggressive or far gone you are, your age and whatnot like that. But I mean, in general, yeah, transplant and hair system, that is my thoughts on it, and take from that what you will. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at moreplates_more_dates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts if you want to listen on audio instead of burn through your data. If you want to check out my deep dives into hair loss and bodybuilding pharmacology, you can check out my blog, moreplatesmoredates.com. And if you want to get sent the articles when I publish them, they're far more elaborate deep dives than my videos, which frankly I think are pretty solid themselves, but the articles just blow those out of the water even, because they're proofread multiple times, divided into concise subsections with table of contents, have all the hyperlinks to the clinical studies I reference in there for you to delve into further yourself. And you're not going to get sent those articles if you don't sign up to the newsletter. First link in the description below. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I am associated with in the video description below as well, and that includes my pharma grade hair loss medications that I currently use, as well as anything else I'm associated with, my TRT clinic, my nootropic and pre-workout formulas, my diet recommendations even for newbies who are just looking into gaining muscle while hitting their micro and macronutrient needs simultaneously. Everything and anything you would want is in there. So check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.